On this all-new episode of Primetime Panthers, we are counting down the top 5 moments from the regular season.
There are certain moments in life where someone can ask you, hey, do you remember where you were, what you were doing when this happened? It was news that kind of rocked the sports world.
Goosebumps on my neck, man. It was so impressive to see.
From thrilling moments on the ice.
It's always fun to call a first NHL goal.
Here's Samoskevich, who came close last time. All the way into the wraparound, there it is! Mackey's got the first of his NHL career!
To memorable ones off of it.
They got to visit West Point earlier this season, and they brought a very special guest, which was the Stanley Cup. It just was a really, really cool full circle moment.
This week's episode has it all, and it starts right now. Primetime Panthers is presented by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Welcome into this all-new episode of Primetime Panthers. Before the defense of Lord Stanley begins, we're counting down each of your favorite broadcasters' top 5 moments of the season. We kick the party off at number 5 with an appearance from the captain.
There's so many memorable nights in the season for the Florida Panthers this year, but I've narrowed it down to 5. And my top 5 moments of 2024-25 wouldn't be complete without including the captain. That's right, Alexander Barkov. Another milestone for the leader of the Florida Panthers. It happened on April 10th.
They score! Seth Jones took the shot, deflected in.
Keep an eye on Barkov's stick. There it comes, and there's the deflection. And Barkov knocks it down, one bounce, and into the back of the net.
Alexander Barkov tipped in his 20th goal of the year, his 10th consecutive 20-plus goal seasons, only the 3rd Finnish-born player to achieve this impressive milestone.
Number 5, I got to go a little sandpaper. Gadjevich, 2 fights versus Columbus, LeBate.
LeBate and Gadjevich are going to go at it.
And Olivier.
This is going to be a treat right at center ice.
Pretty good on him. Couple tough guys.
Gadjevich and LeBate are throwing them. Oh, wow.
Put in the work there.
And Gadjevich is showing well here against Olivier. And this is a long one.
To a tough guy, Gadjevich is my number 5 spot.
Number 5 has to be the rematch between the Oilers and the Cats in Edmonton. Number 1, just because it was the first time that the two teams had seen each other since the Panthers hoisted the Stanley Cup. But number 2, because it was such a wild and crazy game.
Jesper Boquist shorthanded, moving in on Skinner. He shoots, he scores!
And then Edmonton came back and led it 4-2, and then the Panthers tied it up.
In front, Mikkola score! It's Nico Mikkola to tie the game at 4!
And ended up eventually winning it in regulation by a final of 6-5. Sam Reinhart had that crazy, from the most insane angle goal.
Sharp angle shot, score! Unbelievable! Sam Reinhart, you gotta be kidding me!
Carter Verhaeghe with the game-winning goal.
Bennett's trying to give him the lead again. It's Verhaeghe! Yes, sir! And the Panthers are up 6-5.
Everything about it was just so much fun. And I will certainly remember watching that game unfold and how exciting it was to win it.
Number 5, I go back to a night in Philadelphia in December where the Panthers played a wild game against the Philadelphia Flyers. They were up 3-0. They were down 5-4. Then Matthew Tkachuk really took over. He set up the game-winning goals.
Another chance, and they score!
Scored an empty net goal.
Matthew Tkachuk moving in, and the Panthers salted away.
A 5-point game, and the significance this night, well, he tied his dad Keith for the 6th most 5-point games in NHL history. It added up to a Panthers 7-5 win.
My number 5 moment would be the Florida Panthers' visit to the United States Military Academy. They got to visit West Point earlier this season, and they brought a very special guest, which was the Stanley Cup. The day meant so much to our owner, especially Vinny Viola. He is one of many, a part of the Florida Panthers organization that attended West Point. My favorite moment from that day was The players and the coaches all going to the cafeteria where Alexander Barkov, Matthew Tkachuk, and Aaron Ekblad, they got up on this podium and they held the cup, and all the cadets, all 4,400 of them, just roared. And the applause was pretty impressive. So that has to be my number 5 moment.
Let's keep this train moving as we head to everyone's moment number 4, featuring a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup matchup.
About 2 weeks later, it's a game I was looking forward to all summer long, the Stanley Cup final rematch in Edmonton. The Panthers went up there to take on the Oilers. And again, this was another wild game. The Panthers would end up winning it 6-5. They were down a couple goals late in the second, scored 3 in a row, including, I think, the goal of the year.
Sharp angle shot, score! Unbelievable! Sam Reinhart, you gotta be kidding me!
Sam Reinhart from the goal line, right off the goalie mask of Stuart Skinner. A little bit later on, Carter Verhaeghe would get the game-winning goal, and the Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers again.
Fun to watch. Bobrovsky smiling.
My 4th memorable moment of the season. Let's go back to February 2nd. Carter Verhaeghe, Florida Panthers, taking on the New York Islanders.
It's Carter Verhaeghe, 39 seconds in.
Carter Verhaeghe had a night we'll never forget.
Kick save, rebound, score! Verhaeghe's got 2 in the first period.
4-point game, including a hat trick.
A hattie for Swaggy, and it's 5-3 Panthers.
As the Panthers blitzed the New York Islanders in that game. What a night for Carter Verhaeghe.
Number 4, let me have a peek. Barkov shootout win versus Seattle.
Barkov sweeping in on Decor between the legs and makes the move. My goodness! You gotta be kidding me!
Takes it in, fakes through the legs, goes backhand, roof.
Let's go home, baby! Sam Reinhart, Alexander Barkov, do it again.
This wouldn't be a Jessica Blaylock Panthers list without an Alexander Barkov moment on it. So I'm going to go with the game in Sunrise against the St. Louis Blues. Alexander Barkov, after being out on the ice for 2 minutes, which is just insane, ends up drawing a penalty.
That's one of the best individual efforts you'll see all season.
And then he scores the game-winning goal in overtime on the power play.
Barkov, incredible! Ends it.
If you ever needed a reminder of how strong Barkov is with the puck, what a great skater he is, his ability to score goals, his ability to take over a game, it's just a perfect example of everything that the captain brings to the Florida Panthers.
My number 4 moment would be the Florida Panthers' visit to the White House just a few months ago. A really special day. The Panthers are playing the Washington Capitals, and the day prior, they made a visit to the White House as they were honored by President Trump, which is a tradition in sports for championship teams to make a visit to the White House, something that dates back to the 1860s, I believe. There were so many awesome moments from that day that I will never forget, and I'm really lucky that I was fortunate enough to tag along with our broadcast crew. Another reminder of just what an incredible season last year was.
Time for our first break here on Primetime Panthers. Coming up next, we crack the top 3 with a special first.
Here's Samoskevich, who came close last time. All the way into the wraparound, there it is! Mackey's got the first of his NHL career!
Primetime Panthers is presented by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. Keep it locked. Primetime Panthers on Scripps Sports. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Primetime Panthers. We head back to the countdown with moment number 3 on everyone's list.
My number 3 best moment for this hockey season, I never thought I would see it happen, the Marchand trade here to Florida.
Extremely grateful that I get to come to an incredible place, an incredible team, a very competitive team.
You know, just seeing him in Boston over the years, you know, as a special player, he's got a lot of experience, and to see him walk through that tunnel with a Florida Panther jersey on is pretty special.
My third favorite moment, on Long Island back in October with family and friends in the stands from right up the road in Connecticut. Rookie Mackie Samoskevich, a thrill for him. He'll always remember his first NHL goal. It's always fun to call a first NHL goal.
Here's Samoskevich, who came close last time. All the way into the wraparound. There it is! Mackie's got the first of his NHL career!
And the significance in that win, well, the Panthers were down 3-0. He tied the game in 3, and they went on to win 6-3.
At number 3, at the Four Nations face-off here this year, it was the gold medal game, Canada versus the United States. And Panthers center Sam Bennett scored the game-tying third period goal for Canada.
Marner, high slot down low. Bennett scores! Sam Bennett!
Leading the way to Canada's thrilling overtime winner.
My number 3 favorite moment from the season was getting to celebrate Dmitry Kulikov skating in his 1,000th game. First off, that's such an incredible accomplishment in and of itself, especially for a defenseman.
I was overwhelmed with so many messages and you guys congratulating me. So
Kulikov was on the team a decade ago. In a way, it was a really cool reminder of how far he's come in his career and everything that he's accomplished, and just knowing how happy he has been to be back in Sunrise with the Cats and get to celebrate that kind of milestone in a Panthers uniform where a lot of his career started. It just was a really, really cool full circle moment.
My number 3 moment would have to be the NHL Global Series, the Panthers playing the Dallas Stars in that series. And one moment in particular that I found to be pretty awesome was Anton Lundell. He is from Finland, one of our 4 players from Finland, and his grandfather got to watch him play in the National Hockey League for the very first time in person. He's unable to travel, and I spoke with Anton Lundell post-game. He actually scored a goal in one of those games, and following that game, I interviewed him. And I remember he told me how special it was after his goal to look up into the stands and to see his grandfather Tor, who just gave him a big smile and a thumbs up.
He and my parents raised me up, so just everything I got is thanks to them. So we're very close, and it's very important to have him here for sure.
Moments like that are so special, and I know it meant so much to Anton Lundell and the rest of our players from Finland, along with assistant coach Tuomo Ruutu, who's also Finnish. So a very cool experience for those players, and especially for Anton Lundell.
Time for another break here on Primetime Panthers. Coming up next, the countdown continues with number 2 and a milestone for the ages.
And Sergei Bobrovsky now, he passes Tony Esposito for the all-time wins list in the National Hockey League.
Primetime Panthers is presented by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. Keep it locked. Primetime Panthers on Scripps Sports. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Primetime Panthers. We continue with our top 5 countdown with moment number 2 and a future Hall of Famer cementing himself as an all-time great.
My second memorable moment here this season, a lot of fans might not remember this one, but let's go back to March 13th when Sergei Bobrovsky made 23 saves for his 424th career win.
It's loose, it's Nylander shooting, Bobrovsky the save. Matthews spits it out in front, Bobrovsky with a couple of big saves on Austin Matthews. The Panthers win it, 3-2.
And Sergei Bobrovsky now, he passes Tony Esposito for the all-time wins list in the National Hockey League.
A 36-year-old future Hall of Famer, 10th all-time in the NHL.
My number 2 moment of this season would be seeing Dmitry Kulikov playing his 1,000th game.
Kulikov became just the 3rd Russian-born defenseman in NHL history to reach this milestone. Originally drafted by the Cats with the 14th overall pick in the 2009 NHL Draft, Kulikov has skated in 588 of his first 1,000 games with your Florida Panthers.
He came into the league and was his teammate at a young age of 18, watching him progressed through the years, through the different teams, through the injuries that he's been through, and to finally see it come back here in Florida. Not only win a Stanley Cup, but play his 1,000th game here, it's pretty special.
My second favorite moment from this season.
My number 2 moment of this season would have to be...
My second favorite moment was late in the season where it's still unbelievable to call Brad Marchand a Panther.
There are certain moments in life where someone can ask you, hey, do you remember where you were, what you were doing when this happened? And that is certainly going to be the case for me when I found out that the Panthers were acquiring Brad Marchand at the trade deadline.
You know, I think so many would have never thought that would be possible. It was news that kind of rocked the sports world, and he has fully embraced being a Florida Panther.
I was sitting in the media room over at the practice facility. We were waiting for Bill Zito and his media availability for the trade deadline. It was about a minute to go until 3 o'clock, and all of a sudden, breaking news, Florida Panthers are acquiring Brad Marchand.
He's a dynamic player. He's a multifaceted attack, whether it's his skating, his grit, his skill, his hockey sense, his will to win, his compete.
Just to know he was going to be in our dressing room and I was going to get to ask him questions and I was going to get to watch him now in a Florida Panthers uniform. It just was an incredibly cool moment for me, professionally and personally this season.
Jovo, this is the game that we have all been waiting for because we finally get to see Marchand in action.
He made his Panther debut against Utah, playing with Sam Bennett in overtime, and you couldn't write a storybook any better.
Marchand behind the net, in front for Bennett, backhander, let's go home, baby! Marchand sets up Bennett for the winner.
Go back to the playoffs last year. Who would have ever thought Marchand and Bennett as teammates hooking up for a game-winning goal and then just hugging it out with a wild celebration.
After the game, I was watching him and he was collecting rats, and he picked up 3 in total, and he told us that they were for his kids, fully embracing just being a Florida Panther. Can't wait to see what he does in the postseason.
Time for our last break here on Primetime Panthers. Coming up next, everyone's top moment of the season.
And my number 1 moment of the year.
My number 1 moment of this season.
My top moments from the 2024-2025 season would have to be
my number 1 moment on the season. I'm sure this doesn't surprise anybody.
Lock it in, Panthers fans. We reveal the best moment of the year next, right here on Scripps Sports. Welcome back to Primetime Panthers. Without further ado, we present to you each of the broadcasters' top moment of the season.
My number 1 moment of the year, well, it goes back because this guy is just the heart and soul of the Panthers as the captain, Alexander Barkov, getting to play in the Global Series back home in Finland, and he put on a show.
Here comes Rodriguez with Reinhardt and Barkov the trailer. Barkov's got it, he scores! Welcome home, Sasha Barkov! Oh, you couldn't write a better script for the Panther captain back in Finland.
Now, you can take any celebrity in the United States, any sports figure, and times it by 5. That's the amount of popularity Barkov has back in Finland. A 4-point game in a Panther win over Dallas. The next day, he had an assist in another victory. The moment is number 1 for me because Alexander Barkov, through his leadership, through example, shows what it's like to be a leader. My number 1 moment of the season.
Please turn your attention to the ice for the unveiling of our 2024 Stanley Cup Championship banner.
Opening night. Yes, it was an emotional night for the Florida Panthers as they raised their Stanley Cup banner here at Amerant Bank Arena. But the Panthers continued where they left off in June by blitzing the Boston Bruins, scoring 6 goals, including this game-winning goal by Jonah Gadjevich that sealed the night of celebration.
My number 1 moment of this season, it's got to be the raising of the banner. We never thought I'd see it. I know the team has made huge strides over the last handful of years. The trajectory has been unbelievable. But I tell you what, the start of this season, opening night here in Sunrise, to see that banner go up, raised goosebumps on my neck, man. It was so impressive to see, and just so proud of the guys, proud of the community, proud of the organization. So that is my number 1 moment.
My number one moment on the season, I'm sure this doesn't surprise anybody, opening night, the Florida Panthers, the Boston Bruins, raising that championship banner, getting to relive everything that the Florida Panthers accomplished in winning their first Stanley Cup in the history of the franchise. What a special moment it was, not just for the players and the organization, but all the fans that were in attendance, just to hear the crowd going crazy, to watch the players as they're seeing that banner lifted in the building. It just goosebumps, right? Thinking about it. And not only that, it was an amazing game. The Panthers beating the Bruins to kick off the regular season. And just to know again how good this team is and to know that there's the possibility of winning another cup. It was just the perfect way to kick off this season.
My top moments from the 2024-2025 season would have to be raising the Stanley Cup Championship banner on opening night. That game was against Boston. We did win 6-4, which was of course a highlight, but to see all the players out there on the ice, ownership, management, the coaching staff, just everyone watching as the championship banner was raised to the rafters was such a special, special moment. And just a reminder of what this team accomplished last year, winning the first Stanley Cup in franchise history. It's so special and so surreal, and I just have chills thinking about it. The atmosphere at Amerant Bank Arena that night was absolutely electric, just all the fans cheering. It was a special night, and we'll see if the Florida Panthers can defend their Stanley Cup championship title this year.
That does it for this week's episode of Primetime Panthers. The time has officially come for the puck to drop on the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. We look forward to watching the Florida Panthers defend their title, and we'll be with you each step of the way. We'll see you after round one, right here on Primetime Panthers. Primetime Panthers has been presented by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.